لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يئوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم صدق الله العظيم. إلى روح نبينا صلوات الله.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله المولى النعم والصلاة والسلام على هذه الأمم سيدنا محمد سيد العرب والعجم وعلى آله الطاهرين وعلى أصحابه الأخيار ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وبعد. Inshallah, whatever time allows us today, we will shed some light on the words of advice, the words of counsel that Luqman taught his son, who is well known as Messiah Luqman. This Messiah overall can be divided into 7 principles of wisdom. Wisdom that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described in the following Al-Baqarah: وَلَا يُؤْتِ الْحِكْمَةَ مَنْ يَشَاءُ وَمَنْ يُؤْتَ الْحِكْمَةَ فَقَدْ أُوتِيَ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. Allah says that He gives wisdom to whom He pleases, and whosoever is given wisdom has been given a great deal of good. Khairan kathira. In the khair which is beyond calculation. That's why it's wisdom. It's a khair kathir. And the person who is most entitled to benefit from your wisdom are your children and your family members, and beyond them, every believing man and woman. So hence, Luqman began teaching wisdom to his son. Allah says, وَقَدْ آتَيْنَا لُقْمَانَ الْحِكْمَةَ. We gave wisdom to Luqman. It's also another pointer to the fact that wisdom is God-given, something that God gives. Allah said, we have given. You may strive to be wise, but in the end, it comes from God. As we see in the Quran and the stories of all the prophets, they were given wisdom. In the case of Sayyidina Yusuf, alayhi salatu wassalam, Allah said, فَلَمَّا بَلَغَ أَشُدَّهُ آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا. When Yusuf attained maturity of age, we gave him wisdom and knowledge. It was given. The same thing about Sayyidina Moses, alayhi salatu wassalam. فَلَمَّا بَلَغَ أَشُدَّهُ وَاسْتَوَى آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا. آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا. When Sayyidina Musa, when he attained majority of age and was 40 years old, we gave him wisdom and knowledge. But that doesn't mean that we don't strive to gain wisdom. We do. What it means that if you fulfill the conditions, then God will give you wisdom. If you fulfill the conditions, then God will give you knowledge. But knowledge itself and wisdom are given and not acquired. We acquire the requirements, not themselves. And the end of the ayah, in both cases of Sayyidina Yusuf and Sayyidina Musa, indicates that. Because he says that وَلَمَّا بَلَغَ أَشُدَّهُ وَاسْتَوَى آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا وَكَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. So Allah said, when he attained the fullness of age and was 40, we granted him wisdom and knowledge, and thus we reward those who are excellent in character. So ihsan is a requirement. If you have excellence of character, then you are entitled to wisdom and knowledge from God. So that's what you need to strive for. Instead of striving to earn knowledge and wisdom themselves, you strive to earn the character that requires. Whether it's ihsan, whether it's tawakkul, these are the characters Allah is talking about. So Sayyidina Musa and Sayyidina Yusuf were given knowledge based on the fact that they were excellent in character. And therefore, God loved them because of their character and gave them wisdom and knowledge. So these two are given. وَحَبِيَّةٌ غَيْرُ كَسْبِيَّةٌ. They are given and not acquired by themselves. So hence Luqman was given wisdom, even though the ayah doesn't talk about whether he was excellent, but we assume that naturally, that he must have an excellent character for God to grant him wisdom. And therefore, he is going to teach also his son the kind of character he needs to have. So this, inshallah, this lecture about time allows us. It's very important for us to gain some insight into raising children, into raising family, because this is about how do you build the character of your child. How do you help your child grow up with excellence of character so that one day God will give him or her wisdom and knowledge. So that is the theme of this wasaya of Luqman. So the first one in this endeavor of raising your child with excellence, with ihsan, excellence in parenting, excellence in nurturing your child. First one, إذ قال لقمان لابنه وهو يعظه يا بني لا تشرك بالله إن الشرك لظلم عظيم. This is the first tenet. And that is to teach your child about the right of God. Haqqullah. Haqqullah. The right of God on him or her. If God created you, he has the right over you. What is that right? يا بني لا تشرك بالله إن الشرك ظلم عظيم. ظلم. As you all know, ظلم is the opposite of ihsan. For those who are aware, those who have learned their 7 characters by heart, he said, my son, do not make partners with God. So that's the first one. What is the right of God on you? Haqqullahi ala al-ibad an ya'buduhu wa yuwahhiduhu wa la yushriku bihi shay'an. The hadith, the haqq of Allah upon us is that we worship Him alone and we do not make partners with Him. That's God's right on us. And that's the right above all rights. That's the right above the right of your own soul. That's the right above the right of your parents. That's the right above the right of your children. That's the right above the right of your spouse. God's right comes first for all of that. So first comes, as they say, first serve. What came first? Then let's give God his right first before we talk about any other right. So that's the first thing he told his child. Ya bunayya la tushrik billah inna shirka la dhulmun adhim. My son, make not partners with God, because making partners with God is an awesome wrongfulness. It's an awesome wrongfulness. You've done wrong to your own self. You've wronged the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's the first thing you have to inculcate in raising your child. Teach him or her what God's rights are. Teach him or her that God is alone created him or her, and God alone therefore deserves to be worshipped, and no one else. Don't take God's credit and give it to someone else. This is wrongfulness. If somebody takes something that belongs to you and ascribe it to somebody else, it'll hurt you. Let's say that I wrote a book, and that book somebody misappropriated it and put his own name on my book and sell it. It will hurt me. This is my work, this is my work. Similarly, God created you, and He created you alone, with no one to help you. And here you go, you pay your allegiance, you pledge yourself to someone else as your Lord. And that is wrongfulness to God. It's in the shirka, making partners, the ulmun azim is an awesome wrongfulness. That's the first one. If you have given God His right, that alone we can elaborate on it, inshallah, time allowing, the time. If you take care of that, then the next right in life, of the God's right, which is the second principle of wisdom, is the right of your parents. Your parents. مثال وصلنا الإنسان بوالديه إحسانا. We have again ihsan, as you can see. We have enjoined as a human being to be excellent in conduct and behavior towards his or her parents. So the right of parents. After the right of God, they didn't create your parents. God created you through them. So they are the means to your existence. Therefore, they have the right. God would have created us without parents and just created us the way He created angels. They don't interbreed, they just create them, bring them to existence. But as He chose, as part of His wisdom as well, so that there is bond between us, bond of blood relationship, so that we come through each other, are born by each other. So we have admonished a human being to be kind and excellent to his or her parents. And then he singles out why, among the reasons for that, حملته أمه وحنا على وحن ففصاله في عامين. Because his mother singles out why. Why it is so? Because somebody asked, why did I need to come to my parents and exactly that? He said, your mother carried me. And how? Witness upon witness. I mean, that he struggled to bear, to carry for 9 months, a little period. He struggled. She almost died because of you. He died to give you life. The time you bear a child, you've died. With the living only comes out of the dead. So wahanan ala wahan. And then after not only bearing you, bringing you into this world, then she nourished you, she nurtured you with her milk. So for 2 years, from gestation to raising you up with milk. So after 9 months, it takes care of you day and night, without sleep, without rest. For 2 years, they are breastfed until you become strong and begin to walk on your 2 feet. So that's why they have the right for you. When you grow up and As you gain strength, they get weaker. As you grow older, they begin to, they grow. As you grow younger, they grow older. So they get weaker and they get stronger. So now is your turn to do as they did to you. That's part of ihsan. That's part of being an excellent human being. You will never attain ihsan, excellence, if you do not treat your parents right. You will not fulfill the requirements of ihsan. Which are the requirements for knowledge and wisdom? That is the second right that you must take care of. Allah said, Anushkuri wal walidik. Be grateful to me and be grateful to your parents. Then Allah draws the limit where the parents' rights, how far it can go. Because it's not absolute, that's God's right. It is relative. وَإِنْ جَاهَدَاكَ عَلَىٰ أَنْ تُشْرِكَ بِي مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٌ فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. But if they try to turn you against God, even though they are parents, if they want you to do something that is wrong, that God doesn't approve of, then don't obey them. Fala, categorically, is a no. Mother and father, I cannot disobey God and obey you. God says, I can drink, so if you want to drink with them, say no. And so, well done, so you can't obey them. لا طاعة, as they say, لا طاعة المخلوق في معصية الخالق. You cannot obey a creation in disobedience to the Creator, whoever he or she is. So that's the limit of the parents' right over you. As long as they do not ask you to do something that is against the will of God, then you should be kind to them. Until that point, if they try to push you over the boundaries set by God, you should say no. I want to go into examples in the seerah, too many Sahabas and their parents. I'll make it too long. And he said that, so your parents are entitled to your love. You should love them. That's part of ihsan. There's no ihsan without love, naturally. Well, I mean, love them. Being excellent to them. Loving them is one thing. You said that following them is not, you don't have to follow them. There's a nuance between the two. Love them, but when it comes to following them means that following the path that leads to God. Because your parents may not be qualified to lead you on the path to God. So when you don't have knowledge, you can't follow them. Because only one who has knowledge of God can be followed. As Ibrahim said to his father, قال يا أبت إني قد جاءني من العلم ما لم يأتك فاتبعني أهدك صراطا سويا. My father, Ibrahim, now is speaking to his parent, his father. Yeah. And knowledge has come to me that hasn't come to you. I know more than you. I know God more than you do. فاتبعني, therefore follow it. One who knows the most must lead. And must be followed by those who know less. فاتبعني, they call it Fa'u Sababiyya. They have to follow me because I know more than your father. Now it doesn't matter who is father, who is son, who is child. When it comes to following the path, the one who knows the most, whether he be the youngest or be the son, will. If I don't say, no, you are my son, you can leave, you can follow you. It doesn't work that way. So at this point, parents' right is secondary to the right of the guide. Whether it be a prophet or be an alim, they have the right to be followed and not our parents. So they say, وَاتَّبِعْ سَبِيلَ مَنْ أَنَابَ إِلَيَّ. Follow the path of one who has come back to me. So that distinction is very important regarding the rights of the parents. Then from the right of the parents, so we have as the second principle of wisdom. It goes on to يا بني إنها إن تكن مثقال حبة من خردل فتكن في صخرة أو في السماوات أو في الأرض يأتي بها الله إن الله لطيف خبير. The third principle, my son, where it does the size of an atom or the size of a mustard seed, whether it's hidden in the heavens, or hidden in a rock, or hidden in the earth, God will bring it and account for it. Meaning that there's nothing that's not accounted for. So this third principle, we call it the right of your own soul. محاسبة النفس. To reckon your own soul. And to be very thorough when you reckon yourself. Don't be easy on your own soul. That's the point. Because even an atom size, you have to account for it. So حاسبوا أنفسكم قبل أن تحاسبوا. Reckon yourself before they reckon. Make your own record clean and straight. And you have no problems in the hereafter. But the point is excellence of the nafs, tazkiyatun nafs, to purify your soul, to leave no flaw in your soul. So that's the right of your own soul on you. Don't expose your soul to destruction. Haqqun nafs alayk. Do not expose your soul to tribulations. And the way for you to do that is to make sure that there is no zulm. Don't commit any act of wrongfulness. Because any wrong you've done to anyone, you're doing the wrong to your own soul in the end. Because your soul will have to be fight. It's محاسبة النفس. So حق النفس عليك. إن لنفسك عليك حقا. As Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Abdullah ibn Amr ibn As, your soul has a right over you. Has a right over you. وإن لزوجك عليك حقا. Your spouse has a right over you. وإن لضيفك عليك حقا. Your guest who is visiting you has a right over you. وَإِنَّ لَعَيْنَيْكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقًّا. Your eyes have a right when you have to sleep. All this have a right over you, and you're going to give everyone's right to them. So حَاسِبُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ قَبْلَ أَن تُحَاسَبُوا. That is the third principle of wisdom. Rather, the third requirement for attaining wisdom. When we go to the fourth one, he said to his son, Ya Bunayya, is now entering into the right of the community over you, from your own self to society, because you live in a society. You don't live in solitude and isolation. You have to interact with people. And that also requires excellence on your part. Ya Bunayya, aqim as-salah. My son, establish prayer. It didn't say pray. So, a wall of difference between telling someone pray and establish prayer. But the same thing. Establish prayer means that pray as you're supposed to pray really. Establish it. That the ruku is completed. You bow down properly. You rise up properly. You salute. So all the arkan of salah are being looked at to the best of your ability. So you don't just pray, but you pray properly. Establish prayer. That's the first thing. But that is to prepare you for what's coming. Al-muhafadatu ala salah. To look after your salah, to safeguard your salah. To pray salah on time. You pray it at the beginning of time as part of muhafadatu ala salah. To perform all the hayats of salah, all the positions of salah, as part of the completion of salah, establishment of salah. So all these are part of aqim salah. To have khushu, presence of mind, mindfulness of God in prayer, as part of aqim salah. So I said, my son, aqim salah means silently pray, to establish prayer. If you are able to maintain your prayer, then that will prepare you for how to live in society and community. Because one who cannot maintain his prayer cannot maintain other rights. So now Umar said, Man ضيع الصلاة فهو لما سواها أضيع. Whoever neglects his prayer will neglect anything else. And that was one of his criteria when he's selecting somebody to appoint as a governor. If he's someone who maintains his prayer, he says that if he can take care of your prayer, you can take care of whatever. If he cannot do that, you can't take care of anything else. That's why he said first, aqim as-salah. Then you can do the next. وَأَمْرُ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَنَهَى عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ وَاصْبِرْ عَلَى مَا أَصَابَكَ. After establishing prayer, then go out and enjoin people to do what is right and forbid them from doing what is wrong. الْأَمْرُ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَالنَّهْيِ عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ. But you cannot do that. It's a task if you have not established your own prayer. You're not qualified to do that. As we see now, anybody does Amr al-Ma'ruf wa Nahy al-Munkar, and they can't even do their prayer properly. You're not qualified. Because in the Sirah, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, is Surah Al-Muddathir and Surah Al-Muzammil. Muzammil came before Muddathir. In Muzammil, the first commandment is that, Ya ayyuhal muzammil qum al-layla illa qalila. For you who is wrapped around, qum al-layla, stand in the night in prayer, illa qalila, except a little. نصفه, half of the night, أو انقص منه, أو زد عليه, ورتل القرآن ترتيلا. So this is the first commandment. Familiar. Then after that he said, Ya ayyuhal muzammil qum fa'anzir. وبالليل قم فأنذر. Once you're done with your prayer, and including prayer at night, tahajjud, if you cannot overcome your sleep and get up and pray at night, you can't overcome your gentle and soft bed and get up at night, and you are not ready for Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar. You cannot do that. You're unqualified to tell others what is wrong and what is right. You have to work on yourself first before you work on others. That's the thing. And after that, he said, Al-Muddathir, qum fa'anzir, rise up and warn people. Then go out now and do Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar. That's why Luqman said, Ya bunayya aqim as-salah first, wa Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar, because wasbir ala ma asabak. Be patient over what happens to you, because in this process, you're going to face hardships and difficulties. When you're trying to reform people, when you're trying to help people live a balanced life, they're going to push back. Therefore, we need to establish prayer, because prayer and patience are your tools of attaining your goals. So, Amr bil Ma'ruf here has been placed between Salah and Sabr. He said, Aqim as-salah wa Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar wasbir ala ma asabak. Inna dhalika min azmi. So, prayer and patience. In between, everything is possible. And we have echoes of that in many other ayahs in the Quran, in Baqarah, for example. استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إن الله مع الصابرين. Isti'ana. And if you want to accomplish anything, whether worldly or religiously, sabr and salah is a must. You will not succeed without that. Forget about it. If you don't have those two, forget about it. You can't succeed. استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة وإنها لكبيرة إلا على الخاشعين. Seek help through prayer. أي استعانة على أموركم. Seek help in trying to achieve your ends, your goals, your objectives by prayer and patience. Prayer and patience. Hence, in Fatiha, which we recite every day, that's what we are reminded about. In Fatiha every day, how many times in your prayer? Only 70 times. So, Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. We ask God, God, we worship you, we seek help from you. And God said, you want help from me? Then go back to prayer and patience. Ista'in billah. Seek help from God through steadfastness in your prayer and through patience. If you have these two, no matter what you are seeking, you will attain. This is the next most important principle. As-sabru, as-salah. As-sabru, as-salah. Patience and prayer. وَأَمْرُ أَهْلَكَ بِالصَّلَاةِ وَاسْتَبِرْ عَلَيْهَا. Command your family to pray and be steadfast. This is the secret of success of all those who have succeeded. It's prayer, spiritual prayer at night, and patience through the day. So, Ya bunayya aqim as-salah wa'amur bil ma'ruf. My son, establish prayer, enjoin people to do the right of society over you, to reform society, to warn people about the danger of wrongfulness. Because if there's a fire in your neighbor's house, if you don't go and help your neighbor put the fire out, it's going to, of course, end up in your house. So if there's a problem in our society that is threatening the peace and tranquility in our society, that's threatening the health of our society, it is our duty, all of us, to do something about it before it spreads and becomes a disease. So that's haqq al-mujtama, the right of the society, of the community over you as an individual. So, إِنَّ ذَلِكَ مِنْ عَزْمِ الْأُمُورِ. Then we move on to
the next time. 10 minutes we passed. But, if you want, we can continue.
It's not so we don't delay it much. So maybe continue after the
We'll go to masjid.
Yes. Yes, somebody make it and you it back. Okay. Yeah. We'll make it. We'll pay for it, huh? Allah